ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 25 of the Wheel Skweeed podcast.
Hey, 25 episodes. Holy crap.
You just gonna let him take the intro again?
That's, it's 25. Let him have something. It's fine.
Jesus.
Yeah, I just came back just to see you, handsome devils.
Wait,
hasn't been here
you
for
just came back to say goodbye, or like that Colin James song? Or?
No,
You don't like this
you're
Wheel
fired,
Skweeed.
remember? It's me and Squid.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't like the Wheel Skweeed podcast, eh?
Yes,
Just
The
Yeah.
Wheel
have to buy
Skweeed podcast. Do I have to do new logos?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
tentacles on the wheel.
Yeah, of course.
Well, why don't I just change it to a squid?
Whoa.
Like a kraken, if you will.
Like a
Then we'll get
wheelchair
fucking
bound
sued.
squid. A wheelchair bound squid.
That was
I don't think they're gonna have that in the logo.
Oh, I thought you designed the logo.
I did by clicking a couple of buttons.
That's not
he
designing,
didn't
that's
really
clicking.
just-
That's
yeah,
drag and
he
drop.
really-
This
he
isn't clip
cut-
art and fucking junior high.
You
guy.
know what? I didn't even
cut
do drag and drop. I didn't even do that much, actually.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that hard.
It wasn't. It was so easy.
Well, that's
was
all right,
super
because I'm going to
fucking-
remain positive for this whole podcast.
and I'm
Nice.
fucking
That's
pissed.
You know, I'm A-okay with you doing that. I'm just glad that you found your creative outlet, friend.
You wanna know what my rage outlet is?
No.
We all know what your rage outlet is.
No,
This is gonna be your TinCan Blues is angry tonight, folks.
I don't want to hear about it.
Well, you're
Hey,
gonna-
who else is here tonight?
I'm at Eric _83. This is probably the last you're going to hear from me.
and I'm at TinCan Blues, and I'm very angry.
And I'm at Skweeed, SKWEED, and you can tune in regularly from now on, once a week, to the Wheel Skweeed podcast with special guests, the talent, the magic, the
Wow,
E__.
wow, fuck, he's even
that
doing
guy,
it,
That guy,
dusting his shoulders off.
Although he's wearing a Packers hat, so
the
he's
pimp.
not that cool.
I
What's
guess.
wrong with the... No, because you know what? We're not opening that can of worms. We got
yeah.
bigger. We got bigger fish
So how,
to fry.
yeah,
We
like,
sure
you know,
do.
We're not very
how's
sure
not being
do.
a New England fan anymore, you Tom Brady fanboy?
I'm still a New England fanboy. I still like the Patriots.
Are you?
Who's their quarterback? Oh no, wait.
Cam Newton.
Yeah, that's what I was
motherfucker.
gonna say.
Cam
That's easy.
Newton.
It's easy.
Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we all know Superman fucking sucks. So
Specifically, Man of Steel.
And we are just ripping all the band-aids off.
Speaking of
right
that,
off
let's
the bat.
once again thank you to my brother,
Yes, thank you.
the big
Yeah.
guy, coming in at Shroot One, coming
Yeah.
in and doing
doing
the show
for us,
here.
yeah.
yeah, after fast forwarding through the first hour of nonsense, it was a great podcast.
Sid had no idea that
What's
my
the-
brother was on the show. Great show last week, guys. Like 18 minutes. That was
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I heard the Man of Steel argument, some shit about the UCP, and then Tyson's outro.
Which was fantastic.
Was the
I don't know
episode
how you can represent me so negatively when I am probably the most positive person on this.
I told you we're switching roles this pod. I'm going to be the angry guy who throws his headphones down and announces he's not going to be on this episode next week either.
A little bit of role play. It's a sensual podcast.
Boom.
Where's mine?
Whore.
Talking to the mic like a cock. There it is.
I just love how you got Taylor at the beginning, just whore.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, so what the hell are we going to talk about tonight, guys? Because headlines out there
Oh, I
have
know,
it
right?
that
Like that fucking state of play. That was just
right.
disappointment.
That was
you know,
super
it was
disappointing,
right.
actually.
like I know you're all excited for the Darth Vader fucking VR. I'm sure that's why you like the VR stuff. Looks great.
Wait, what Darth Vader VR?
There's Darth Vader VR that's been out for like 4 years or something. That's just coming to PS4 now.
Really?
For like 6 months.
Well, I didn't
Whatever,
know.
same difference.
so like VR, like you play Darth Vader in VR.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you did.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
It
tuned out. It
sounds
looked shit.
amazing.
Fuck, that would be great the whole time. Just
I'm sorry, Darth Vader doesn't.
and the more
let you
intense the
garrote.
situation, you know.
Yeah, I like to fucking feel the person struggling. That's why I'm stoked for the Agent 47 fucking VR.
I bet.
Yeah.
Dennis
What about-
and I are just gonna be like, shh.
Dude, you know what would be good for that? Haptic feedback gloves, so you can feel the pulse stopping.
God, right.
You know,
Dude, it's like when you fucking stealth kill people in Tlu 2, and it's just like their eyes are like darting around and start to roll back, and you're just like, that's right, and you fucking stop.
like it's like a whole other game mechanic. You know, like if you're not careful and you don't choke them out all the way till the pulse stops, they get back alive and fucking stab you in the
Yeah,
back.
that's PS5 shit.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
That's right. I'm fucking angry tonight, man. I feel like killing people in video games.
Wow.
You know.
Yeah, that's satisfying. That's satisfying.
Certainly.
I was playing through fucking Dead Space the other night because I needed something light and cheerful.
Dude, how about us kicking the shit out of Hotline Miami?
Right? It
Not
was good.
That, like heavy.
What?
Tsushima's not that heavy.
Dude, it started out and I'm like, I'm not ready for a fucking like super serial struggle third person action game. Like Tilu 2 took a lot out of me. I just wanted something bubbly. So Dead Space was where it's at. Fucking sever their limbs. It's fucking magic. It's wonderful. It's beautiful.
So positive.
Yeah. It's great. Fucking Isaac, the silent protagonist. Visions,
like
haunted by
legs
visions
getting-
of his dead girlfriend. Is he?
This is like a positive experience for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
This game.
Yes.
I feel like it's like his like physical outlet. If he didn't have video games, he'd probably be really violent in the real world.
Probably.
That's how I feel like being right now because the Oilers fucking lost
I
tonight.
feel like that every night on Twitter, dude.
Well, every night the Oilers lose.
Which is what 75%.
Yeah, it's a fucking most of the fucking time. What a fucking bunch of losers. Jesus Christ.
It was pretty bad.
Oh shit. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. 'Cause I'm very angry. I'm steaming mad about this. So
He is pretty angry. It's
Yeah, it's pretty.
fuck.
What were the indie games that you liked in the state of play? I didn't really find any of the games. Really
It was just it was aesthetics. I can't recall them right now because like I didn't pay a heap of attention to that state of play. I was expecting a little bit more. Apparently, one thing dropped out of it that was supposed to be the showstopper at the end. So I think either it could have been RE8 or they could be holding off for the Xbox thing because it's multi-platform nowadays. But yeah, no, it was kind of lackluster. There's the one with the pathless that's really aesthetically pleasing. It doesn't look like a PS5 game, but I suppose the art style lends itself to not being.
No.
I don't know. I shouldn't be one to expect
The-
photorealism
Yeah.
or like super insanely beautiful graphics for every game because like the art style is super dependent on that.
Yeah. Their first state of play was really good, so I feel like
Well, Sony's just kind of learning how to do these things.
yeah. And they're doing it in COVID time too. Like I'm sure everybody's learning how to do it.
Well, yeah, but like, Sony has been a fucking multinational corporation selling things like TVs and audio equipment for a long time. But they've got a confidence. I like how they're still kind of keen on doing like, platform exclusives.
Yeah.
They're still fucking stoked on that. There's been a lot of discussion about the Avengers game, whatever the hell, because you can't play as Spider-Man on anything but PlayStation.
People are so fickle and whiny about the silliest, stupid.
well, it is weird because I saw a lot like with the Call of Duty, like season 5 got released, and it was like it's so different for Xbox than it is for PlayStation.
Xbox used to be like all about the fucking timed exclusivity. Like they took away like Tomb Raider is a celebrated PlayStation franchise
Yeah.
for a long time. Yeah. And then when like the remake came out, it was, oh hey, this is exclusive to Xbox for 6 months. Or like the GTA 4 DLC, like the Ballad of Gay Tony and the Lost and the Damned. It was like Xbox exclusive. And it's like these games started on PlayStation. It's kind of, and now whatever the hell his name is like, oh yeah, we're not going to play the exclusive game as you buy up how many studios? Like, come on.
Yeah.
And now you get the show, so you're going to have a game on your console next year that's like by PlayStation Studios.
Yeah.
Well, the show's like, oh yeah, okay, well, Sony still has publishing rights, but they don't own the IP kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. But like, Sony has owned the Spider-Man IP since like the fucking 80s or some shit.
Yeah.
Like they own Spider-Man. Marvel doesn't own Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Sony owns Spider-Man.
Yeah, I know.
So
Isn't that why there's been like 1,000 movies?
Yeah, absolutely, because
they're just trying to hold on to the IP.
Yeah, of course.
yeah, because if it remains inactive for a certain amount of time, I think you lose.
right.
You lose it.
You lose the rights. Yeah.
That's why we got like 3 origin stories in like 10 years.
That's also just kind of par for the course these days. It feels like everything's a fucking reimagining, a retelling, a re-fucking make.
I think once you reimagine the reimagination, I think it's over at that point.
I guess they do the same in like actual comics though. So I guess like
Well,
every
yeah, the
10 years
Amazing
they kind of
Spider-Man,
refresh it or whatever. Yeah.
the Spectacular Spider-Man, just plain old Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And
plain Spider-Man.
but even Spawn did that. Like they had Spawn, then they had like the Hell Spawn series, which was fucking awesome. The art style was beautiful. Like
was that
Ashley Wood and
was
Angel
that the
Medina, I
same
think.
story, the same character? Or is
Yeah,
that
but
a
it was like
different Spawn?
medieval and
Oh,
like
okay.
very like brushstroke kind of like that Arkham Asylum comic that's like paintings.
Oh,
It was
cool.
that kind of art
Is
style.
it the same artist?
No, I think I feel like it's Ashley Wood or Angel Medina, but they did a lot of Spawn covers too. they kind of had that ratchety style, like Greg Capullo and stuff.
Oh, sweet. I might have to
Right?
look that
Just,
up.
yeah. Do it. I've got like 2 figures from that of just like Spawn looking like a Viking barbarian on horseback, and it's all grayscale and shit.
Wicked. That's awesome.
Fuck yeah.
That's awesome.
That is pretty cool. There was one, they did a crossover with Batman.
Yeah.
War Devil?
No.
Was Devil in the title?
What? Like Spawn and Batman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like three or 4 books.
Yeah, it was the way Batman should be, fucking adult. Like that dude's fucking. I like the dark DC shit that they've been coming out with, like the fucking The Damned, and just okay, Batman's fucking killing people and he's fucked, but he's killing criminals, so it's kind of okay. But he's got like a lot more going on.
Yeah. Yeah, the reboot thing.
I don't know. I don't want to get into the whole I don't think superheroes should kill debate because I pretty much went through that last week with Superman.
Yeah, but I mean that's what this like in this day, like when Superman was created. Whenever look at what was going on.
It was during the Great Depression, wasn't it, or World War One?
It was something like that.
World
So
War
a
One,
lot of gung ho patriot. Like,
of
of course he's gonna do the good stuff.
in America.
But now, as we've come to 2020, I think we can safely say that sometimes the good guys gotta, maybe as you're breaking the villain's arm by twisting him around like Batman does, maybe you pull the trigger and kill the other guy who's like also sneaking up behind you.
Yeah.
There's just so many bad guys. Like I just want there.
That's why you gotta shoot them. You gotta shoot them.
I want there to be good guys again.
You know why the criminal justice system sucks in America is because places like Metropolis and Gotham City, where they house people in these extravagant multi-million-dollar facilities. Like, this is the problem. You know what? Just do it like the Ruskies do. Go, okay, we're going to lead you back to your cell, and then a fucking bullet behind the ear.
I feel like
it's Chikatilo.
I feel like it's super easy to break in and break people out of Arkham Asylum. I feel like
it seems incredibly easy.
It's a shitty prison.
Yeah, I feel like there needs to be some fucking injunctions.
I feel like it's more like a hospital where they like try to make you better and not a prison.
Well,
Yeah,
It should
well,
be
they
more of a prison.
they should just base it off of 30s asylums and just feed everyone drugs and let them shit all over each other.
They very much should do that. Actually, that's very true. Actually, the Arkham Asylum comic was kind of like that.
Yeah, it was dark.
It was super dark.
Ah,
It
never
was.
hard. Fucking beautiful.
It's excellent art.
But like, they held Charles Bronson. They managed to keep England's most violent offender locked away for that many years. They can't keep the fucking Joker.
Yeah, it's true.
yeah, right?
Like, okay, master manipulator aside, he's not really.
How hard is it to keep a fucking heroin addict locked up? For fuck's sakes.
Just keep feeding him heroin.
Yeah.
He builds his own prison with that.
This is all right.
So what's going on there, Mighty Rage Monster?
Just rage it on Twitter, man.
Yeah.
For all our listeners that are curious about how angry this little man can actually get, you should check out his whatever the hell, Oilers Blues Twitter, because it's just awful.
Yeah, it's probably getting lit up right now.
It is not an accurate reflection of the views of the Wheels Blues podcast.
Yes, it
The
is.
Wheel Squeed podcast.
Wheels-
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Not the
sorry.
Wheel Squeed, but
Sorry,
it
yeah,
is
Wheel
for the Wheels Blues, for sure. For sure it is.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I secretly sewed it into the threads of our shirts
Well,
you're all wearing.
as 20, I'm not fucking wearing them. Hail Satan, yo.
Oh, yeah, you are wearing a Hail Satan shirt.
Hail Satan.
Hey, your sweater's here too.
Yeah, I know, my Hail Satan sweater.
What do you, so like, what do you like, the woodland critters?
No.
Hail Satan.
Far too old for blood orgies, man. It's a lot of
You're
work.
never too old for a
I was gonna say, are you too old?
Yeah,
Can
you
get
you
too
just
old.
you just don't replenish your own blood as quickly when you're old. Like when I was 19, 20, man, I could slash open my arms and fuck for hours, and now I'm just tuckered out, like just thinking about grabbing the razor.
Wow. That does not accurately describe the views of the Wheels Blues
I don't know.
podcast.
Oh,
I
that
don't know.
doesn't. Eh? Just
That's
a lowly Satanist who's into blood orgies. No, but a man who hates people for doing their job not as well as he'd like. That's what we want to represent. This is a fair society, sir.
We live in a society.
Society with equal rights and privileges granted to all of humankind. Kinda, not really.
Yeah,
You know what's going to be a really sad state of affairs is when the Oilers actually win the draft lottery on Monday, and the NHL is like, "Ooh, fucking put that one away. We'll just put that one away, and we'll do it again."
What, so
because
the Oilers can get another star player and not build a fucking team off him?
yeah, that's
Damn.
the fucking sad part.
Well,
Is that
what is the problem? You know, they get star players, they get good coaching, they've had a series of talented and capable coaches, just not when they get to Edmonton. So like, what is the root of this issue?
Well,
Is it
according
something in
to
the
Bob
fucking
Nicholson,
water?
that's what Bob Nicholson says. But he's dumber than a sack of shit. So I mean, the guy went out when they Oilers fired their GM, when they fired Chiarelli and McClellan was gone, and they had like a interim GM and all this. No shit. Bob Nicholson was asking other organizations in the league what they thought he should do. No shit.
because it's been like 30 years of them being crap.
Yeah, but no.
And it doesn't matter the coaches. It doesn't matter the players. It doesn't matter the strategy.
Just
That
hang on
team
here.
Just fucking sucks.
Just hang on here. Bob Nicholson, the fucking chairman of the Oilers, was asking other organizations. The chairman of a hockey team, his own hockey team,
and he's all out of ideas. Tyson.
he was asking other organizations what they thought he should. Who should we hire? Who do you think, Dallas? Who do you think we should hire? I don't know. If there's another
you
clear
don't think
indication of I don't know what I'm doing from Bob Nicholson, that was it. Holy hell!
You don't think other organizations do that? Like,
I was just
no
gonna
other-
say,
No.
yeah.
No. Do you think another organization fires their GM and then asks one of their rival organizations who they should hire?
Hey, why am I not succeeding? Because it doesn't seem to fucking work no matter what we do.
If you don't know what direction your fucking team should go, you shouldn't be in the hockey business.
What's the hold on? What's the context of him at are we talking about he was at the fucking GM meeting?
No. They had no GM
He was just
for
texting him.
like since like January, right? They fired Chiarelli in January 26th, oh holy day. And then they fucking and then they didn't have a GM for this whole time. And the whole time the Oilers fucking propaganda is just talking up Keith Gretzky like crazy. What a great GM. He traded a piece of shit for another piece of shit. Holy fuck. That's the best shit we ever saw because they're used to trading gold for pieces of shit.
When was Keith Gretzky the GM?
Well, he was the interim GM
Okay,
as of
all
that
right.
day.
Okay.
But then they were like, well, what should we do? Should we hire, another, who should we hire? Bob Nicholson was the boss at that point because he's the highest ranking guy in the hockey ops at that point because everybody else got fucking fired. So they don't have a coaching staff, really. They got some assistant coaches left.
just turn him into a farm team.
Yeah. So he's asking other organizations, who what do you think I should do, guys?
Maybe one day when they play
are
the
you
Moose,
kidding?
they can get back into the NHL status. But maybe they should just
Maybe that's
Fuck.
maybe that's why they suck because they're asking the opinions of others.
Holy fuck. If he really wanted to know what he should do, he could have took one read through Twitter. There's like fucking 3 great options. One of them was Sean Burke. One of them was Mark Hunter.
You
And
armchair coaches
So you just
don't know
got,
what
you
you're
just
talking about.
it's a shame they can't treat it like a console cycle. Sony was super on top of their game with the PS2.
Mm-hmm.
Then they were just like, yeah, we're fucking awesome. Yeah, we're just gonna fucking
Coast.
you can't afford a PS3, get another job, bitch. And what did people do? They bought fucking Xbox
they did
360s
kinda
for
do that,
$300.
yeah.
But then they went, shit, we fucked up. Let's fix this.
they got lucky.
The Oilers should be able to do that in a generation, but it's been
you'd think.
fucking 3.
Does
You
it
know
not come down to? I mean, is it coaching?
No.
Have you guys just
Well,
not found the right coach?
No, well, they went
It can't be
through.
the players. It can't be the players.
They-
Well, it is.
wouldn't-
It is.
they
It is.
have-
How is it the players? You have so many number 1 picks.
Well, it's not them. It's the team around those number 1 picks.
It's everybody. It's
And I mean,
everybody together. There's no
It's
fucking.
look at what happened in this fucking game where the Oilers embarrassed themselves in this series where they embarrassed themselves. It was like 20. It was
Losing
20.
by a goal.
No, hey.
I've seen
There was-
those stats. It's
You know
not
what happened
that
in this series?
embarrassing.
You know what happened in this series?
You guys
Hang on.
dominated, and for whatever reason, because
we
saw. The
let me
stats.
tell you the point totals.
Okay.
Because you want to know who besides McDavid, Draisaitl, and Nuge scored a goal?
Probably nobody.
2 other players and the whole fucking team.
But you're losing the games by 1.
Yeah.
You lost 2 games by
Well-
1, correct?
It's time for somebody else to fucking pick up the slack. Somebody do something.
Farm team.
Cassian was given a contract in January by Ken Holland. It was an overpay. We were all like, fuck me. Fuck. There's no way that guy should get that deal. Just a year prior, you couldn't trade him. He was requesting a trade and the Oilers couldn't find someone who wanted him. So naturally, a year later, they gave him a fucking $4 million deal for 3 years.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's insanity.
Well, I mean,
And then no shit.
look at the deal that we gave fucking Nylander.
Yeah, but
and-
that's Nylander.
Yeah, he's always landing
That's
on his knees.
Nylander.
And what did he do the season after he got that deal?
Well, he didn't play till December.
Well, and what did he do post December?
I don't think very much.
He didn't do shit.
But he didn't play
do
till
shit.
December. So I mean, his December was his training camp at that point. You know, like he had everyone else had
all
3
been-
months of
When
hockey.
you
That much
All been
money,
off
you
for
should be
fun.
ready to go. Whether
I
it's
agree.
August or
I agree.
September.
But no shit, Holland. He says when he signed Cassian, no shit. He said we all remember what he did in the playoffs, fucking like 3 years ago. Well, holy fuck.
But that
really,
is sports,
really,
though. I mean, you hire people that
You didn't-
Well,
you
he's
didn't-
look what he did here. That's your resume.
Yeah, well,
That is your resume,
you know what
yeah.
you should do if
You
you're
know?
an NHL GM? You don't look past 1 year. What the fuck did you do this year, man? Because if you've been playing shit this year,
Are they playing analytics?
no, not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Because you seem like you're a big analytics.
I like
guy.
analytics because you can look at a lot of data.
Right.
You can look at a lot of data and you can make educated decisions about it. I'm not saying you should have a Toronto Maple Leafs, which is or Arizona Coyotes, which is fueled, even though Arizona moved on, which is fueled by a shit ton of analytics. Arizona, so to say, I'm pretty sure,
I'm sure there's a
Toronto
department.
is a ton of analytics.
yeah.
It's like you need a middle, you need the sweet spot. You need to find a sweet spot where the analytics supplement the old hockey guy's eye test.
Right.
That's what you have to do. You can't rely on one or the other. You need to have it working in tandem and together so that the old guys, scouts, find the players they think are good, and then you tell your analytics guys to pick out the diamonds. And then the rest of them you go, well, what do you think, scouts? And the scouts still like some guys, okay, you take them in the later rounds. But I guess it's their GM's prerogative. And Ken Holland says when somebody asked Ken Holland about analytics, and he said, well, we use gut analytics. What the fuck? That's not analytics. That's a gut feeling. And Dave Tippett went with a gut feeling and started Mike Smith, and he fucking lost the series. That game one was like who won that game was going to win the fucking series no matter what. And you know what Mike Smith did? He fucking before the game started, I went on Twitter and I said, I bet you within the first this game, Mike Smith is going to leave the goal, do something stupid, cough up the puck, and they're going to get scored on. And it happened within 5 minutes.
I mean, yeah.
And then from that point on, that broke the back of the Oilers. And from that point on,
You think that was it? 'Cause
That was
I don't
it.
know,
That was the
that's how I'd
backbreaker.
sell to someone like me, where it's like you're losing, you're dominating in the key
But
stats of the game. You're losing by one. Is it this? I mean, are you sailing on the Titanic, or I mean, this can be fixed?
well, I mean, you could attribute some puck luck here, but like, I mean, you got to make your own luck.
Because look
Like,
at the
come on.
Leafs; they've had great teams, Hall of Fame coaches, and we haven't been able to bring home the cup in I don't even know how
1967.
long it is now. So yeah.
1967.
Well,
2004 was your last playoff series win.
yes, yeah, against the Islanders.
I don't know who it was. I just know they
was
lost.
the Islanders.
Probably Ottawa.
No, I think it was actually New York. So I think I remember partying on Yonge Street because it got to the point where the Leafs were so bad that if we even won a playoff series, Yonge Street would immediately fill up.
they'd
This is the
fucking
last time
lose it,
we're
yeah.
ever going to get to do this.
Yeah, like it was. You know, Daniels. I hate to say it, but really, I hope the Leafs lose tonight because at least I'll have some good shit to read on Twitter after that. You know, at least I don't have to read about how much the Oilers fucking embarrass themselves. I can
read your own Twitter feed. Jesus.
I can read about how the Leafs embarrass themselves and like.
In all fairness, it's our fault that we read his Twitter feed. It's not really his.
Oh,
you
I don't.
Lots of people get mad at what I
notifications from
say,
everyone but him.
and I just tell them to
That's
fucking unfollow me. Fuck off, you don't like it. Fuck. What do you think this is?
Oh, I
You-
love
what
it.
are you following me for then?
It makes me feel good
You know?
as a sports fan.
To read it?
Because we're so polar opposite.
Yeah, we are.
A sports fan.
And
you are, and look, I love you. You are a fucking
But-
defeatist. You
Yeah.
are a defeatist.
You
We're-
if
we're-
I watch these sports with my dad, it's like, well, it's over.
Yeah.
Like the first. If,
Oh, the puck hit the ice. Fuck this game.
Yeah, but when I said it was over when Mike Smith let that goal and I was like, series is fucking over, was I wrong?
but I mean, you had a 50-50 chance of being right
Yeah.
or wrong there.
Is,
I mean,
is he like this when he can't do something in a video game? You guys have played more video games than I have with him.
Oh, no. I'm pretty determined in those fuckers.
Oh.
I would be determined. That's the thing. If I was playing on the ice, if I was not a complete dog shit hockey player, if I was on the ice, I would be like, I would be fucking hitting anything that moved. I would like I don't even think there was a hit late in that fucking series. You know that was
wasn't a
fucking
lot.
good.
There wasn't a lot of
You know there
contact.
wasn't Cassian skating around doing shit all. Nobody hit anybody. Kara was doing what the fuck was he doing? No one knows. Nobody. Nurse, fuck me. He was the worst player in the fucking series. Goddamn near. Hit somebody. Like I would be all over that ice. Like Yamamoto had more hits than fucking Nurse did. For fuck's sakes. You know, like, and he's 5'0". I'm fucking near bigger than that guy.
So how long do you think till the Patriots sign Aaron Rodgers?
Oh wow! Well, whenever Cam Newton's contract is up, I would
So like
assume.
next year, probably.
Yeah, fuck yeah, man.
Yeah, it's probably true.
Then this hat changes.
Probably, yeah. I bet it does.
Fuck Daniels.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to say it's 3-0 Columbus now. They just scored again.
You know, but again, like, so that's my thing. Like I told you, I'm prepared for the worst, and then when something great happens, that's awesome. We get amped up. But there's always next year. Next year, and as a Leaf fan and all Leaf fans,
Okay.
next year is the year.
Can I
Next year is
ask
the
you?
year.
Can I ask you? You have like Muzzin and Riley signed for next year.
They're rad.
That's two defensemen.
That's good.
But you're up against the cap already.
So yeah, Muzzin and Riley, which I love because it's nice that the Leafs have decent defenders because that's something we haven't had in a very long time. And as it goes for the cap, like it's I don't think it's a question of making moves. I think we have really good players.
But who comes in? Because I'm looking at it right now, and if the cap's going to stay flat, especially because of COVID,
Yeah.
So the Leafs are going to have like roughly $4 million to fill their defense in like 4 defensemen and some wingers. And some forwards. They're going to have $4 million.
Oh, I would leave that to smarter people than I, because if it was up to me, I would, say if this was a video game, I would be turning it off, turning it back on, deleting, and then restarting a new season.
Maybe if I reinstall, it'll work better.
Yeah, it's like it's a little bit. I mean, Kyle Dubas is gonna have a rough go here. Like I mean,
He's gonna have a rough go because, like all the Leafs teams past, it's about you're answering to the Leafs fan base. Is what you're doing.
Yeah.
And we want to not only be in the playoffs, we want to win the playoffs and we want a cup.
Yeah,
So they got us to the playoffs, and now we've lost in the first round 3 out of 4 years?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, or maybe 5 out of the last whatever.
Yeah.
So now it's about getting better, but I don't think you get a better team than the Leafs have now. How much better can you get?
You can
with the money that you have. I don't think we can get a top tier or even a good second line defenseman.
I kind of feel
Well,
like
you
that
can't
about
do
the
anything. You got
Oilers.
$4 million.
Is $4 million enough to buy a good second line defenseman?
Well, yeah, but maybe, but you got to fill 4 defense positions.
Well, we're not going to do that on $4
Yeah.
million.
So like, no, you're not. Like, so you got to have some contracts in there that are not.
Disposable.
Well, you're gonna have to have some minor leaguers probably, or some 8 league minimum contracts. That's just the way it's gonna have to be. They're not going to trade Austin Matthews.
No, because he's a big piece of that puzzle right now.
He's a 40 goal scorer, and as much as I don't like the Leafs doing awesome, like and I would say all day that Draisaitl's a better player than Matthews, and that would be controversial, probably at this table.
Yeah, maybe.
But Matthews is a 40 goal guy. Draisaitl's a 50 goal guy, but I mean Matthews is a 40 goal guy.
How long has Draisaitl been in the league?
Since he was drafted in 2014.
It's only like
So 2 years. He's 2 years younger or older than Matthews.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Austin Matthews.
Okay, but Draisaitl's 8.5 and Austin Matthews is like 11.5.
What, on the contract?
Yeah.
See, again, that's where you're losing me with the whole contract talk.
Well, I mean, like he's.
I don't know if he's in
He's got
11-5. A hockey
Well, it's
player.
like $3 million more, right, for Austin Matthews per year against the cap. So you could have had, if you had Draisaitl.
And how deep have the Oilers gone in the playoffs versus how deep
The Leafs
have gone in the playoffs?
one more
Leafs have
round.
been better.
Well, since the last time the Leafs won a first round series was, I think, 2004, wasn't it?
Yeah, but they've been in the playoffs a lot more than the Oilers.
And they never won a round.
They've still
But-
been in the playoffs.
And they never won a round.
They've still.
Doesn't matter. They never won a round.
But they're in the playoffs.
The Oilers
You're
won.
like Billy Bean.
Well,
I'm like
they-
watching Moneyball right
yeah.
now. Like,
So if you don't win a round and you win one,
Nobody gives
so
a shit.
so yeah, nobody gives a shit.
which is true. But
Yeah.
Nobody
So-
gives a shit if you don't make the playoffs.
Yeah, well, if you won the same amount of playoff games as the guys who didn't make the playoffs, what's the fucking big deal about making
See,
the playoffs?
and that's the point I was trying to make is that was like the first goal when like Shanahan and all the brain trust came in and then we started drafting all, those kids. It was like, get us to the fucking playoffs.
Yeah, fuck.
And then we made the playoffs and it was like, sweet. And then we lost in the first round. And I think for a fan like me, it's like, well, all right, but at least we got there. Young team, we were shit the year before.
Yeah. Well, you
And-
got Matthew. Like you were the
and
You were the
we
first
got
overall.
better.
statistically you were supposed to
But
get that pick.
now, of course, now it's like you. Not only do we have to get to the second round, but we like conference final or final at least, and we just.
I know it's like you got to win at least a round.
I think we have the team to do it. I think we have the team to do it, but I don't know, for whatever reason. Sports
Whatever reason.
odds, whatever the reason is, I don't think it's just necessarily.
You could argue that the officials don't really want the Canadian teams to win because you could see a lot of soft calls going against Canadian teams.
Aren't
Like, you-
most of the officials Canadian?
I know, but like, who signs your paycheck?
That's true.
I don't want to jump into conspiracy theories, but I watched an Oilers player board a guy. It was a clear fucking penalty.
Yeah,
the Oilers
there
player
was-
got a penalty.
yeah,
it was
there
good. It was a
was
clear
bad-
penalty.
yeah.
And then I watched a Hawks player do the exact same thing. No fucking call. And the guy's actually was out. He's fucking got a fuck knee now, and he was out. That was Ennis. Same play. Ref standing right there. No call. So what's going on?
Yeah, they're definitely like with all sports, there has to be like a referendum on officiating because fucking baseball is.
Yeah, it's not even just hockey, right?
terrible. Baseball is terrible.
Don Cherry said that when the Jays were making some noise in the playoffs. He was saying, like, well, you'll never see a Canadian team win because the league doesn't want it. You'll never see it. And
See, I can't speak to that like the league because my brother was saying that I believe for when the Raptors were like. Maybe not that the league didn't want it, but he was definitely thought that there was like a bias with like the American.
yeah, well, you could hear it in the United States after Toronto won, and Kawhi was going to be re-signing or hopefully re-signing and all this stuff. You could see stuff coming from the American media that was like, why? Why would he sign in Toronto? Nothing happens there. Nothing goes on there.
I was saying the exact same thing. I said that from jump when he got to the team that
Fuck, dude.
it was like.
The Leafs scored 3 goals in the last 4 minutes
So
of the
there
game.
you go. So there you go. You fucking believe. It's not over
Holy
because you're
shit.
fucking losing. Dude, do you know what I love? When a team is down and there's 2 outs and 2 strikes in the bottom of the ninth
Fuck
of a
off.
baseball
That just
game.
that ruined my night.
Well, let's see. You got to believe in the blue, baby.
Wow. 24 seconds left and they tied the game.
That's fucking the magic of sport. That's
That's
why I
rad.
love
That's
sports.
rad.
That's why I love the
That's
Leafs.
fucking rad. Yeah.
That's why I love
3 and
sports.
334.
There you go.
Now who's an embarrassment? Columbus.
I told you we're gonna win the cup, and you guys can fucking bitch and whine about how we don't deserve it because
gonna
it's
bitch
a short.
and whine. I think
Yeah,
we'll-
you're gonna get on that fucking bandwagon
I'm not on the Twitter hate.
Well, I'll never get on the Leafs band. Like never.
unless McDavid comes to the team.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. Fuck the Oilers then. I don't give a fuck. If the
You wanna
Oilers
talk about Darth Vader VR.
fuck, you know what? If McDavid like win, like the Oilers are so incompetent, win McDavid, rightfully, justifiably request a trade from that shit show of an organization, that tire fire from top to bottom. I'm gonna go, yeah, fucking right on, man. Like, I don't blame you. And where are you going? Because that's my new team. And I've been an Oilers fan my whole life, but man, that organization is an embarrassment, top to bottom. They've done things that they made decisions based on things other than winning for so long. Because the Oilers are inflicted with "I'm the smartest man in the room" syndrome, where whatever they do things against conventional wisdom because they believe they're the smartest men in the room, and they are not even the smartest men in the
Unlike
fucking
Oilers
planet.
fans
Like,
on Twitter.
Well, but so the Leafs were owned for the longest time by the teachers union in Ontario. And do you think they gave 2 shits about if the Leafs win a cup? No, they care about.
Yeah, but wouldn't that benefit the teachers? Like, would they get donations or?
Oh, it benefited the
I'm
teachers.
sure it
Of
fucking
course
did.
it did because they were making buttloads of fucking money because they're like $1 billion company.
So you'd think they would absolutely want the Leafs to succeed?
No,
it would make
because
tons of money.
people, they're the Yankees, they're the fucking Cubs. these teams that, you know, even when they're shitty, everybody's wearing their fucking garb. I mean, if you live in Toronto, you're a Leafs fan. It's like 10 to 1. You know what I mean? So, no, they did not give two. They gave a shit about money. The greatest thing for me in Leafs history, since I haven't been alive for a cup, is when the Teachers Federation finally got out of the organization MLSE. Took over, because then you saw Shanahan came in and you know, all these guys and fucking Lamoriello, they brought in people who were smart about hockey.
Yeah, but the Teachers Association, they had Potvin and Belfour and Gilmore and Cujo and Wendell Clark. They had good fucking people in the organization in the
But the top
90s.
like really didn't care. They didn't care. We had all these guys because we had a lot of money. We've always had a lot of money. We've always been the Yankees of fucking of the NHL. Yeah. Money wise, not necessarily winning wise, but you know, win, lose, or draw. There's always not only are we going to sell out our own building, we're going to sell out your building. We're going to sell out everybody else's building. You see a game in Edmonton, it's Leaf jersey.
It is.
I'm sorry
there's
to tell
tons
you.
of them. There's tons of them.
You know,
same with Montreal, but
we fucking bought your fucking stadium for you. Fucking
It's very true. It's very
there is load. Even like here, there's load. Like Leafs fans are across Canada. Like
Of
they are
course,
across.
You see
You know?
them in Arizona. You see them everywhere.
They're
Not
nationwide. Like, I mean, it's just so like they've been around for so fucking long. Like they just like the family. Like most hockey fandom is genetically handed down. You know.
And plus, you have to think like, you know, years like your grandfather was probably a Habs or a Leafs fan.
Yeah, my dad was a Bruins fan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he liked Bobby Orr. Like that was his favorite player.
Sure.
Because that was
but you
before.
get what I'm saying,
yeah.
right? Like before there was Edmonton, you probably
Yeah.
loved a team from the East.
Yeah,
is,
that's the thing. Like Edmonton's only been around since 1979, so they don't have quite the history. Like, what the fuck is? How long's Toronto been around? 19 before, like they were the St.
They were,
Pats
like,
or
one
some
of the
shit.
first teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were like the St. Pats or something at first, and then when they became the Maple Leafs, I mean they won countless Stanley Cups, like countless.
Who can forget their battles with the Montreal Maroons?
Yeah, you know what? Those epic battles, fucking, you know, skating
Playing
around with
shitty on the tundra
the outdoor
of Lake
rinks.
Ontario.
Yeah, just fucking winning Stanley Cups in the Great White North, you know, like
taking a road trip playing on the St. Lawrence.
fucking Stanley Cup's a challenge cup, you know, like just fucking, I bet you can't beat me. Okie doke, let's have at her, boys. You know?
It's like the fucking Iditarod.
Yeah, like, fuck.
So they
It's all-
used to decide the Stanley Cup was the
They're all just
Iditarod.
sharing Cabana Sucre in the fucking intermission, rolling up maple syrup and snow. Like, oh, fucking sure, there you go, boys. Hey, fucking, that'll get you going.
So turning to a more positive note, I think here,
Yeah, let's-
our good friend Syd took a trip,
Did.
and how was your?
I want to. What
last
happened? There was some.
Oh, do you have stories? You have
Yeah,
stories.
something
Was there
happened.
anything- yeah, was there anything exciting that maybe took place?
Sorry, I was tweeting happy things.
Were you tweeting my Twitter about that?
Death to Superman.
your
that's
Twitter.
what's
There you go.
No, it wasn't that. It was Resident Evil stuff. What else would I tweet?
Fuck. I mean, they gotta quit making that shit one day. You can fucking probably buy a house.
Oh, it's like the Beatles.
Yeah.
They find. Oh, now it's
Oh,
the
fucking-
re-release.
Sid's
Mix-
fucking
yeah.
on a fucking Instagram. Fucking tomorrow is like, check out this Resident Evil
They've got
lunchbox
a
I
sale
got.
on Resident Evil rubber ducks right now. Okay.
Did you buy a Resident Evil rubber duck?
No, I'm not gonna spend. I'm not going to. I want to though. The sale's not that big a deal, so I'll just pick them up at full price, I guess, when I can afford it.
Can I just say one thing before you launch on that story?
What story? The story about rubber ducks and Resident Evil?
Oh, the story that you're going to tell about your trip.
Well, I'm going to tell a story about my trip.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. We need to hear this. But before you say that, I just want to ask you if one fewer Columbus player comes out of the dressing room after Torch fucking kills him.
Oh, probably.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, yes, there will be a sacrifice.
Oh yeah, Torch is going to fucking murder a player in the fucking dressing room for that.
Yeah.
All right.
Speaking of murder,
First being a murder, Sid. What the fuck happened on your trip? Reluctantly going to tell this story.
Well, it all started last week, Friday afternoon now, and me and the missus was going to head down and visit my mother down in Lethbridge here. And so we pack up into the minivan there. We head down, and everything's all fine and dandy. Saturday night rolls around, and the weather turns a little foul on us, right? Sure, it gets a little foul, and up here in the Rocky Mountains, we don't see the storms too well usually. The rain comes down, but we don't really get the show, the lightning and the thunder and the whatnot. So my mother lives down in the prairies, right? And she lives on the outskirts of the city, and it's not a long drive out there to the farmland where you can look around and see the big prairie skies. So, the lightning show's nice in the driveway of my mother's house, and, the wife and I just kind of go, we could just take a little drive out. It's not far. So, we all settle up in the van there, get my mother along with us, and we drive up north there, down to the farmlands. We pull over and have a nice little stop, and, lightning's striking pretty regular. But, there's big industrial power lines around the side of the road there, so... lightning striking, the power lines started buzzing pretty loud, so we go, oh, damn, well, maybe we should relocate for our own personal safety, We want to enjoy the show. We don't want to be the show. So, we're driving down, and there's this here cemetery, and we go, oh, hey, it's open up. It's peaceful. There ain't nobody in there. We drive into the cemetery.
Well, say for the residents.
No, I was saying for the residents, but they resting peacefully, I reckon. So we drive in there and, find a nice little corner there, right on overlooking the coulees, the river valley there. And
Was that by John Smith, 1882 or 1881?
There's a family there that have been there for a while, but it's a newer cemetery, so they're, mostly children.
Was there some deaths in the past 6 months?
So, we're standing there, and we got the lightning striking about 3/4 of the way around our view. It's in the north, it's in the east, it's in the west, it's striking across the river valley. Some of the bolts are pretty big, pretty impressive, lighting up the sky. I swear to God, there was a bolt every 2 to 3 seconds. It was marvelous. One thing I do miss about the prairies is that their weather.
Bigger than that prairie boy I ever seen before, eh?
So, we see a couple of headlights and whatnot. We just go, well, damn, someone else found our location. They want to come and, enjoy the peaceful storm watching there in the cemetery, right? So, they drive around, but they don't come near where we're at. It's all fine and good. We wanted the privacy anyway. People coming into a cemetery late at night, you never know what they might be wanting to get up to. They were sitting there watching the headlights leave, and we hang out for another half hour. We'll make some zombie jokes and talking about the dead rising up, and with some cow shit that kind of felt like you're stepping in entrails. So carried on like that for a little while longer, and then we all saddled up into the van, and we started to hit the road back. Storm was dying out, getting pretty far away. And then we get to the front gates there, and oh fuck, would you done have it? The gates is locked. We go, well,
Boy, doggy.
well, why wasn't these gates locked before? It's pretty late at night, and we figure it's just an open spot there, but no. So we inspect the gates. We look at the locks. We see the chains. Try and manipulate them up there and get the gate open so we can leave. We're gonna be assholes and nothing about it. We would have closed up on the way out. But it's not working. We Googled the cemetery, and there's no phone number, nothing. We go up to the little information board, the map there, and we see there's a number for emergency calls. So we call the emergency number, and they answer, and they transfer us to the security firm that deals with it, and they go, oh yeah, no worries, we'll send someone out right away. About 45 minutes into that there, we're just kind of like, they don't forget about us. Like, this is getting kind of boring. It's late at night. It's about 11 o'clock. It'd be a bit of a walk back to the mother's house there. So we're just like, well, we'll just wait. They coming. The missus gets up on the horn again there, and she calls down to them, and turns out that security firm don't have a key, and they don't actually mind that cemetery.
Really?
So they told us that they was coming to let us out, and they's just been lying to us the whole time. So we call back to the emergency number there, and the lady's very nice, and she's like, well, that's the number we have for the groundskeeper, so they're
plumb out of ideas, right? So they go, well, you just call your local constabulary there and get an officer of the law to come down, and maybe they got a key. So we call up the Lethbridge Police Service there, and, I swear to God, when the missus was on the phone there, I overheard laughter on the other end. But, they said, well, we might have a police officer on duty who has a key to that there cemetery. So there we are. We're sitting there, and I start walking around a little bit more. And, it's pretty locked up, right? There's a big rock fence around the whole front area there, and they got the culverts on the side of the road down there for when it's storming and the like. So I'm like, well, I got me a minivan that ain't so keen on the off-roading, right? But we go, well, reckon I can do it. Because, this officer's on a call, and, considering the state of that there fine city, it, could be a while before it gets out to us. And, that's even if he has the key. So we all saddle up in the minivan again there, and we start her up, and, back up a little bit, and just took her into the trees there. And it was, she handled it well. A little rough for the poor girl, but she went through it nice. Drove around. We called them officers of the law back there and let them know that we got out safe and sound. Didn't damage nothing. We good. We drove on back to home, and, by then the storm was over and the excitement had ended. So we, just went on to sleep then.
Did you say when you were driving your van through that shit and she was taking her good, did you say, that's my girl?
Nah, I slapped her ass and said, it's a good Bessie now. You get us home safe.
And I knew she would.
Yeah, she did. She good.
I got TB.
For a rundown old girl, she treats us well. She treats us nice. Gets a little hot under the bonnet sometimes, but that's because she ain't got no AC.
I gotta tell you, when you were telling us this story on the group text, I was confused. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? You're stuck where?
They'll never come to get you in the night.
I think I might have said
Dark.
that.
See, too good. I don't know what was funnier on the group chat, the story or you. It seemed like every time you wrote something, Tyson would,
Right?
Well, we're good friends.
He just drowned in his own sorrows and someone else's misery.
Yeah. Well, me and
Taking
Sid
advantage
have been
of
good
someone else's
friends.
failure.
We've been good friends for a long time. So when Sid's stuck in a cemetery, I mean,
You laugh.
I laugh because
Yeah,
first of all,
we're past the point of wanting to see each other succeed, and we just want to see each other fail now.
well, we think it's funny, yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so when he's stuck in a cemetery, first of all, I go, that's fucking great. And then the second of me goes, yeah, well, Sid probably doesn't mind it there.
Well, it was
Sid would probably be less comfortable stuck in a public place somewhere else.
See,
Yeah, no,
my whole
100%,
thing there would be like, fuck, like, where the fuck am I supposed to sleep? Well,
that-
in the
Yeah.
fucking car.
Oh, Sid's like, I've always
No,
wanted to sleep in a cemetery.
It would have been like a half-hour walk back to town. But then it's like, well, they're going to fucking open that cemetery up at 8 a.m. and tow our van.
You got to be waiting there.
Yeah,
See, I
exactly.
probably would have done the walk when Katie and I went back to Toronto last. My mom was watching Tommy. I saw a friend from high school, and we were in the great city of Mississauga. And as soon as we left my buddy's apartment, get to the bus stop, and the bus had just left, and it was an hour until the next one. So then I start trying to call, I call the only cab company I really know. Oh, well, we don't pick people up in Mississauga. You have to come to the Toronto side. I'm like, are you shitting me? You can't just rip in here? And they're like, no, we can't.
Nah.
So I'm like, great, I didn't know cabs worked on boroughs. All right, well,
They've
whatever.
clearly been to Mississauga before.
They sure as shit do in the States, man.
Yeah, well, so Katie and I we had beer. So I just tossed her a beer and was like, it can't be more than 40 minutes that way. And there was a Subway at the end of the rainbow, the sandwich place. So
so you just crawled into the ground and gave up, eh?
Yeah, we fucking, pounded a few beers and stumbled it actually wasn't. I don't think it took as long as I thought it was going to take, but took a while. And you're always looking back to see if the bus is coming. You pass the bus stop and you're like, should we wait here for 5 minutes just in case?
See, maybe we'll get a bus.
Yeah, and the standard if I light a cigarette, it'll drive around the corner. Didn't work.
See,
right?
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I lit a
fucking
smoke.
half a pack later, you're just like, well, fuck me. I can't even breathe now. Now I got to walk.
You have that luck where it's you're like, fuck it, let's just keep going. And then when you're right in between two bus stops, that's when the bus zips by you. And of course, you can jump in front of them and they're not going to stop.
Yeah, no.
I had that happen to me once when I lived in Victoria. There was one bus that there was one bus that went from where the fuck I did my drinking with my buddy, and I'd always try and hit this bus. The last bus was like 11:45 at night, so we had to cut our drinking short.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to run and catch this bus. I'm a little late. I fucking see it drive by. I'm like, fuck.
That sucks.
I go walk in my buddy's place. I'm like, dude, I missed the fucking bus, and it's like a $25 cab ride. So I'm not going to do that, obviously. So being a good friend, my buddy just goes, well, all the booze I got left is this fucking 2.6 of rum, and I go, well, that'll do.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
That'll do. And we drank probably about half that fucker. That bus ride home when the buses started again was a lot of people going to work and a lot of me needing to sit down.
Two sixer of rum. That sounds like
It was about half. We about half drank it, over the course of like the next 6 hours.
Oh, well,
But he's a champ. He stayed up with me. He didn't let me. He's like, you can sleep on the couch. I'm like, or we could stay up all night drinking.
So was it just like too late for a bus for you guys? Like I know that was the case for you, but like, or was it a holiday or something?
No, it was just like when it's that late at night.
Yeah.
They only run like once an hour.
Yeah.
So it was definitely like after midnight ish.
Yeah, it's happened to my ex Roberta and I in Winnipeg. We went there for fucking Easter, and so her and I went to a rave in downtown Winnipeg. It's like, okay, it's getting out at 6 a.m. That'll be fine. We'll hang out. We'll catch the morning bus back to like downtown core to the outskirts of the city. No buses even downtown on a holiday. So it's cold, it's rainy, we're sweaty and tweaking. Like, all right, sweet, this would be cool. It was at like the community center, so like when it was ending, like homeless people were coming in to shower and shit, and we're just like, oh wow, this is
nice.
okay. All right, well, let's go then. So we fucking walked for 4 hours, I think, until we like tried to call a cab to a Walmart parking lot, and they're like, I don't know. Well, I don't know about that.
Sounds
like,
fishy.
Seriously, but like it's cold.
I think if you're talking like, yeah, we need a cab.
Hey, could you just send a cab to deserted building 3 on 3rd Avenue? That'd be great. We'd appreciate it if you sent a woman or someone of a weaker stature, please.
Tell them to pack a sheet.
I'll be wearing the furry yellow hat with the pacifier around my neck. That's the noise. That's the noise.
And could they bring some bubble gum, please? I've been chewing my fucking lips for 3 hours.
Or some McDonald's straws.
That's exactly the call where you're just like, yeah, we'll be right there. And then you block the fucking number.
Yeah,
it.
just
That's
like,
the last
hey,
thing
I'm
you
locked in your cemetery. We'll send someone right away.
Yeah.
Thank God it wasn't a fucking elevator.
Yeah.
And it was just like, that's the last thing.
Oh yeah, stuck in an elevator. Sure, buddy. That's the 3rd call we've got tonight.
Being stuck in an elevator sucks.
Have you been stuck in an elevator?
Numerous times.
What? Like
Numerous.
Stairs, man.
Thanks for that. Thank you.
jeez.
Advice.
Super helpful.
Jeez.
Yeah.
There was a bus. So the Edmonton line for the TTC, where my buddy lived, was like the end of the line on the west end.
Wait a sec, the Edmonton line?
I'm sorry, the Eglinton.
Okay.
Eglinton line.
I was like really confused. I was
Well,
like fucking
it's
just
Western beers.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, continue.
So on the Eglinton line, Eglinton West was the end of it, and that's where my buddy lived. So, you'd walk up and, the buses ran, whatever. It was supposed to be like every half an hour. So, whatever. You have a couple darts, you're teenagers stoned. So sitting there, you would see buses come down on the other side and they're driving down. And then they would go into the loop, which was like, probably from here to like the main door at Cavell there. And then the buses would just sit there, and you're standing there, and you're like, all right, come on. But you can't move, because if you move to go down, that's when the bus is going to take off, and he's not going to fucking stop. So yeah, they would come around, and then they would be out of service, and it would happen 2-3 times That to me would be like being stuck in a fucking elevator, is waiting for the fucking Edmonton bus.
At least in
the
an
Edmonton
elevator, you're
loop.
kind of sheltered from the elements.
Nope, because an elevator can start dropping rapidly. Whereas
well,
standing at a bus
fucking
stop,
easy
I'm
out.
not going to drop.
An easy out.
Yeah, but what if you?
True. That's very true.
You
When
gotta
you're
think
waiting
of
for
the
a
silver
bus,
lining, dog.
Easy
Yeah.
out. What do you mean easy out? Like he could freeze to death.
No, you could fucking die if the elevator breaks, but
Yeah.
at least you're safe from the elements.
Well,
Otherwise,
and also like if you have to take a piss in an elevator, I mean you're
I'm marking my territory.
Yeah, you're dealing.
Oh, it's so hard for me to just pull my dick out and take a piss.
Yeah,
in
but
an
you got
elevator,
you
but
got to piss on
stop.
the floor of
Yeah,
a area where it's like a 5 foot by 5 foot area.
it ain't
You're
about your
only-
disability, man. It's about stinking up the fucking elevator with your piss.
And you got to sit there in it for God knows how long. Or at least if you're waiting for a bus, you
well,
can
yeah,
just go
but I
piss in
guess
that there
Justin would
bush over there.
actually have to sit in it for a long time.
And piss doesn't normally smell unless you got an infection.
What?
Or you've
Who
eaten a
told
lot of
you that?
asparagus.
Or you had asparagus.
Or you
I
got
used to
asparagus.
never believe that until like 2 months ago. We got asparagus from JFI, a grocer distributor in
That's
town.
the first time
Big
you've
up.
ever had asparagus.
No, it
No,
wasn't
it's
the first time I ever
he's
had it.
asparagus
But
pea.
these things were so fucking fat. These were big, fat asparagus.
Oh, I thought you were talking about your dick.
No, God. No, never. But I had to text Katie while I was peeing. It was like, my piss stinks. That asparagus was awesome. I love asparagus, but I'd never had the asparagus pee. I'm like, oh, that's not true. People don't know what the fuck they're talking about. But no, it's a true thing. It has some big asparagus.
Wow.
So is that the first time you've eaten a lot of asparagus, or like it's
Ever?
It was the first time that it affected my urination.
really?
You know what
In
an
years.
You know what an underrated Austin Powers joke is in one of the movies is where he's pissing in that fountain. He's pretending to be like the thing pissing so that the guard doesn't notice. But then for some reason he starts eating asparagus, and then the guard is just like,
Yeah.
"Fuck!" And then, but like that joke goes completely under the radar for like the whole movie, and like, unless you're looking for it, I guess. But at the time, I was like, "What the fuck is he doing?"
Why would he be smelling?
Yeah, like,
Does he
what the
smell
fuck?
the pee from
Yeah,
that
like
far away?
the guy's he's like pissing forever. He's like drinking juice and stuff, and then he starts eating asparagus, and the guard just, what the fuck? You know?
knocks another guard out and
Yeah.
he's lying under the street. Yeah. Those are good movies.
Fuck, I better watch those again.
Really good movies.
The first one's okay. The other two,
I don't know, man. I made the
they're
decision to rewatch the first one, High on Mushrooms, and I was like, "This is the worst comedy I've ever seen." And ever since then, those movies just ruined
Man.
for me.
Wow,
I see
really? They
clips,
get-
and I'm just like, it's dead. It's dead to me.
They get
I was-
better as they go.
No, they-
I don't know
not
if they
in
get
time.
better, but if I'm flipping around the channels and I see like Austin Powers, either like whatever one it is, I'm stopping on that.
I think the bit I'm referring to is in the second one, but I think the third one is where Mini-Me is strapped to him upside down, and they're doing like the physical in like the room.
The shadow.
Yeah, and the
Yeah,
shadow
yeah,
thing
yeah.
happens with like Mini-Me's arm like throwing it like as the penis throwing the apple up, and he catches it and eats it. Like that was just comedy gold, and that was the third one. It just gets better as it goes, in my opinion.
It's just dead to me.
Well, that's fair enough. I mean, like honestly, it's aged, right? But like, I mean, the first one came out in like '97. It was
Yeah,
like
but
fucking,
Airplane is still hilarious to me. So
like fucking 23 years ago. You know what
But
I mean?
Austin Powers isn't really a parrot.
Whoa!
what was that?
that's what you get for speaking ill of a fellow Canadian.
Wow.
And Monty Python is still amazing. Like 400 years later.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
The
holy
Mighty
grail.
Larch.
I was just talking. Oh, this isn't Monty Python. I was just talking about Mel Brooks. I guess like comedy, right? From the old
Slapstick.
Yeah, slapstick, like old slapstick. Yeah. And people were saying, "Well, what's your favorite kind of Mel Brooks or kind of old timey slapstick?" And I said, "Oh, Dracula Dead and Loving It for sure, for sure." It's
Fucking Leslie Nielsen, man.
so good. Well,
Yeah.
and like my favorite part in that whole movie is when they're going to stab, I think Leslie Nielsen in the coffin, or some one of the Dracula, one of the vampires, whatever. And Mel Brooks and one of the other guys is standing there over the coffin, and they stab him in the heart, and blood fucking sprays all over, and they get fucking covered in
Yeah,
it.
it just rockets out.
Yeah, it just rockets out everywhere. And Mel Brooks is just like, oh, well, maybe we should have put some newspapers down.
Yeah, because he plays fucking Van Helsing.
Yeah,
right?
I just fucking laughing my ass off at that point in time. Like,
His parodies were so good. Like Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yeah.
Blazing
Spaceballs.
Saddles,
Spaceballs is a
Spaceballs
classic.
is probably the big one for
Yeah.
me. Like But Robin Hood Men in Tights,
It's a classic, man.
so
Like,
funny. That irreverent humor, just that Mel Brooks would bring that.
it's the kind of
It's
thing
over
like
the top ludicrous. So, like, it's,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
it's the kind of thing that your dad would show you.
Yes,
You would show
Yeah.
your son
Yeah.
20 years, like 40 years after your dad showed you, you
Yeah.
would show your son, and it would
yeah.
still be hilarious.
Yes.
You know, like there's just no escaping that humor.
No.
yeah, no, there is a timelessness to comedy. Though I think the more we go into the digital age and the internet and all that kind of stuff, that a lot of those like gags are kind of gonna lose their impact to younger generations. I think that it will eventually. You know, like I watch Airplane and I think it's hilarious, but any kid who watches it now is gonna be like, the fuck does she mean talking jive? What is this? I don't get this. And I'm at the cusp of not understanding that, but I've heard that watching like Fritz the Cat and shit, and I'm like, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Or like the increasing, like, oh, I picked a bad week to quit drinking, and like at the end, it's like I picked a bad week to quit smoking meth.
Yeah,
You know, like,
yeah.
or whatever the fuck he says. Right? It gets worse and worse and worse as it goes on.
They certainly don't make parody movies like they used to.
No.
Like
those-
National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1. I think when it's like a play on Lethal Weapon 1.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
then they show up. I think I talked about this already. They show up at the crime scene and the guy's got no shirt on, and but like they're talking all serious about the fucking murder that happened, and then the fax comes in and it's the guy's shirt and he just fucking puts it on all deadpan like nothing's out of the ordinary. He fucking buttons it up. Like it's just that's so fucking hilarious to me.
Right? It's like don't be a menace to South Central drinking your juice in the hood.
Yeah.
Hot Shots.
Fuck yeah.
Hot
like-
Shots, yeah. It's just the fisheye guy in Hot Shots. Fuck, it's
Hey,
just
the
so
fucking dude from 2.5.
Yeah, like they were, the guy, like the two, and like he's got these, they call him fisheye, and he's got like the camera always, he's all fucked up, and he's trying to like they're gonna,
Falkenbach or something.
like they're gonna
His name is
fucking
something weird.
like they're gonna fucking let that guy fly planes, you know, like
Fucking dad was killed like in like the start of the movie, like Ryan Stiles is his dad.
Yeah.
He's got like the fucking antlers on his.
The last best parody movie was probably Tropic Thunder.
oh man, I was talking about that today at work.
I suppose.
Yeah, I guess that's.
I suppose it is. I think it's more like a satire.
Yeah, it would be more.
I'd say it's more of a satire. They don't really have like over the top shticks. You know, like it's all like kind of a
Oh no, there is like a whole commercial about booty juice making fun of rappers.
yeah, but that's like a fucking that's a satire.
Yeah, he's.
That's 100%
But
satirical.
isn't Mel Brooks kind of satire then as well?
It's
'Cause
no,
he's
no, no,
making-
no.
he's
Slapstick.
making-
Yeah, no.
He's over the top prop comedy and fucking
Yeah, like
oh,
nonsense, like
but
like
he's-
that's
yeah, but he's-
nonsense.
Yeah,
when
but
you-
like his whole shtick is satirizing like genres, like he did the Dracula horror.
Yeah, but he's doing it
did Star
slapstick.
Wars. Yeah,
No. What he does is parody.
Like if Tropic Thunder, if you know he would, I can't
Like
even
if
think
it
of
was-
an example in
like
that
if-
that would be slapstick.
well, I guess like I mean, maybe if they did a parody, it would have been Apocalypse Now, but you know Vietnam and all that. But like
I guess, yeah, it is.
but
it is-
it
yeah,
wasn't
it's not
really
parodying,
it
like-
wasn't really though, because it was like just it was a story that was nothing like Apocalypse
it was
Now,
a
but-
satirical
Yeah.
look at how movies are
yeah.
made and
and the directors and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
agents.
And let's not
yeah.
forget, Mel Brooks isn't really fucking like parody. He's slapstick.
Yeah, it's just nonsense.
He plays on elements of certain films, but you could say that most of those films are just like, oh yeah, it's kind of like that Western.
Yeah, but he takes the basic framework of like certain movies, like Blazing Saddles is like he's taking frameworks from like famous westerns, or Spaceballs is basically framework.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
Star Wars.
Spaceballs, but like
a parody
Spaceballs
of,
is 100%
yeah.
a parody. But I think like a lot like the difference between like satire and slapstick is just like the over the top. Like a satire is like playing on tropes in our reality and you know kind of turning it around from being something that's
Slapstick's just more gags.
yeah, exactly. Like
Like
you're
even-
wearing a giant hat, or you know, you're
Clicking-
like, oh,
clicking
these flies
coconuts.
are terrible, and you have a giant fly swatter. It's just like over the top ridiculous shit.
even the names of like some Leslie Nielsen stuff, like
A Naked Gun 33 and
yeah,
a third.
yeah, like
Yeah, it was to
the
take
fuck
off
even-
of all those old fucking cop shows and like Beretta and shit and
like 33 and a third, not Naked Gun 3, Naked Gun 33, and not even Naked Gun 33, Naked Gun 33 and a third.
yeah, the Naked
You know.
Gun 2.5.
Yeah, like it's funny.
The
And
it was the Naked Gun 2.5. The Smell of Fear.
yeah, and we like yeah, like Tropic Thunder, we were talking about that today at work, and I was saying, like Jamie Foxx was talking on Rogan about it, about the blackface thing.
Yeah.
And he was saying like, oh, you can't censor that, like whatever. And but it's so like it's not. I'm not a black guy, but I don't think it's offensive because I don't see it as like he's doing like the whole movie is about how ridiculous that is.
The majority of people that whine about that movie are like millennials that have never even seen that movie or don't even know what it's about.
Dude, we're millennials, bro.
Right? Like he's playing a part and he's acting the part.
Like
he's not and when he does do like a racial stereotype or a trope, it's just like, really, man?
Yeah.
Like what are you fucking doing?
Like the whole
he
thing
gets
is
called out every time he does like a stereotype.
The whole thing is ridiculous. The movie knows it's ridiculous. That's why it's funny because like they just go on how far an actor will go to fill for a role. Like, how far will you go to get into the role? Is like how crazy some actors will go. And then one of the best parts is like the black guy, like the booty sweat guy.
Yeah.
I can't remember like the Indo like Chino or
Al
whatever.
Capone.
Yeah, whatever. He goes. Like, even he points out in the movie how ridiculous it is that he didn't get the black guy part.
Yeah.
And that's why it's funny.
Yeah.
Is because like everybody knows how ridiculous it is that he got pigment surgery to play the part.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Nobody would ever do that. That's why it's funny. And Robert Downey Jr. did an excellent job at that.
Oh,
like,
it's fucking it's
and
hilarious.
I mean, like shit. Like
He did an excellent job in that movie in the fucking trailer where he's the fucking gay monk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Toby Maguire.
yeah, like
yeah.
it was just so. That's how like he's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Australian.
Yeah.
and he gets pigment surgery to play a black guy.
That's how
in a movie
devoted he is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But and it's ridiculous, and that's why it's hilarious,
Yeah,
and
that
that's why
movie's
you can't.
awesome.
That's why you can't like cancel that movie that everybody they're gonna try to
It's
cancel.
funny, you see it on Twitter, like every like 6 months or so, another group of like kids sees that for the first time. They're like, "What the fuck?"
oh, this
I'm
is a
angry."
mod. This is awful.
And everyone's
Like
like,
a bunch
"Nah,
of fucking,
dude, no, dude, he's Iron Man."
Yeah,
But it's a bunch of fucking privileged
awful.
white kids who don't have any struggle of their own. Going,
Yeah.
I can't believe they put this out. This is offensive and rude.
So-
It's like,
Nothing tickles me more than when people are offended by something that is not offensive to them.
right?
Yeah, that's the king of like
Yeah.
white people Twitter
The whole
Yeah,
SK
or
yeah,
Facebook is
yeah,
like
yeah.
white is like white people
I'm
being
jumping
offended.
on board because I'm an
Yeah.
ally. And it's
Yeah.
like,
I've
dude,
never had
shut
anything
the
to fight
fuck
for.
up.
Like, did
so
you
I'm gonna
talk?
fight for this person.
Yeah, like, did you talk to a black guy about that? What does he think about Robert
Yeah.
Downey Jr.? That's what I want to do.
And I'm sure
You
there's
know?
a lot of people
Hey.
who are offended by it
Yeah,
that are
like-
people of color. But like, I don't know. I'm never. The problem with being anything other like any being so far removed from the struggle and plight of another person, and regardless of race, is that you can't really understand it.
Yeah, so
right?
like you're being
Like,
offended
so it's
for
fine
something.
to me, but or that's offensive to me, but
Yeah, like what the fuck? Like you should talk to somebody who's actually being affected by that.
But even then, you're gonna get a small percentage. I'm
Yeah,
sure
you
there are
will.
people
But like,
who
I
are
mean, it's
super
better than
offended by
getting
that,
no
but-
percentage.
Yeah.
I guess, you know. But
I
then
mean, just because something, I mean, do we not hit a point where like it's like, yeah, it's offensive, but it's like, yeah, I get it.
yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah, I get it.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I get why you're offended. It's like the same as like the Eskimos name or the Redskins, especially the fucking Redskins. Jesus
That's-
Christ.
that's
Yeah,
bad.
But there,
That's
and, there,
fucking
and there's
real.
people
But
out
that's- but I
there
mean,
like
like-
there's Inuit who are like, I don't fucking care. It's a goddamn
of course,
sport.
yeah,
game.
of course,
Like,
yeah.
So like,
And of course, there's going to be ones that are offended.
yeah. So
but-
like, once the same. If the Inuit tell me that they're offended by the name, okay, fucking right on. That's the way it
Let's
is.
wor- let's
Let's
work
change
on
the
it.
fucking name then. But like, you know,
but
you're
making it an issue when it's a non-issue.
well, like if you're gonna make it an issue for people that it's not doesn't affect, like that's crazy. Like,
Well, I think the people who made it an issue were just like, oh well, if
I
we're
was-
gonna fight racism, this is where we start, and it's like that's hardly where you start.
yeah,
It's
but
like,
like,
shut up, Whitey.
yeah, like you know,
White
I
people
you're-
ruining shit for
I
kids.
agree with you. I want to hear from the people that are affected and see how they think about it
This-
because I don't know. Like, I'm not.
I don't really. Is Eskimos like a white person's word for
Yeah,
Inuit?
yeah, I think
Is that
so.
what
I
it
think
is? Yeah.
that's what it is. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
but can
Yeah,
I?
see, I don't find like the like.
I'm
So-
not,
so wait.
I don't know what
But
it
in
means.
that, if I may just quick, I guess like I don't see how it's offensive, and I kind of feel that way when, you know, like when you use the word cracker and how people are like, oh man, he called you a cracker, like that's it.
Yeah, I
It's
don't like that though.
It's not. It's not.
you know,
You know, like-
because
Well, like-
if the derogatory word for black people was like jujube, And it's like, oh, but I love jujubes. It's like, yeah, but it's a useless game.
Yeah, but nobody likes a fucking square saltine.
Yeah. No, but like, you know what I mean? Like,
I like saltine.
Fucking honky.
yeah, like,
Get your cracker ass the fuck out of here.
You're offended when somebody
Oh, yeah,
calls
you
a
would put
cracker?
well, no,
mayonnaise
I'm
on
not. But like, I could, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just.
But
like,
you understand.
just say my name, you know,
correct?
like say my name or like something like that. Right?
name. Say my
Just
right.
because
Can
the word
Is associated
doesn't have
with,
that bite to it that the N word obviously has.
and also we weren't
It's-
enslaved for years and
It's
years and
easy,
years.
but it's easy to poo-poo something when it's like, oh, well, Eskimo, really? Like, why is that derogatory? And it's like, well, they find it derogatory. So,
Yeah. So like, well, and you're not that
Yeah,
person.
you're not
so
that person.
what the fuck do you know? That's exactly right. But can I ask you a question? Can I bring this up? What about that movie White Chicks, where the two black guys put white face on? Like, I mean,
Shannon loves
so-
that movie. It's
okay.
a terrible fucking movie.
Okay,
yeah,
so
it's all
like,
conceded
but
is a terrible movie.
so is that racist?
Who the fuck cares?
Okay, see, well, there you go.
I don't find it offensive.
Okay.
But
I think it's
like,
fucking hilarious. It's just a couple dudes pretending to be basic ass bitches. Who fucking
Okay.
cares? It's fucking funny.
But and it's also like if you like, there's also a controversy with like women playing male parts and men playing women parts and dressing up that way.
Yeah, there was
so
a
now
big issue with
some
there was
actresses or actors dropped out of whole roles for this.
There's a person who's not Latinx who's playing someone who's
Yeah.
Latinx.
So now
I don't
you
know how
have
say that.
two black dudes playing two white chicks. The movie is literally called White Chicks.
so the argument is that
Is that racist?
back in the
As a white person,
1800s
I don't
when
give a
white people
shit.
were putting on plays, you know, they
With-
wouldn't hire black actors because they would just have people go blackface, and that's why blackface is
And
is
they
offensive.
Well, probably.
But you
beca-
get to Dave Chappelle, and I mean, like, if you know him doing whiteface or white chicks, you know,
Well,
whatever.
Gary, I just don't know about that.
well,
It's
to be
hilarious.
Yeah, it is hilarious, but it's like to that effect. If Nick Kroll, when he had his show, which I loved, if he decided to do Shaq, you know, I wouldn't find if you could do a good Shaq. I that's not something.
Yeah, like, so-
because I'm not
so if-
searching for racism.
Yeah, so if
I'm
you-
watching a comedy, so
Yeah.
I understand that.
So it's like
and
if you-
that humor is objectively racist, then it's a problem. But if
to all
okay.
spectrums,
Yeah.
though.
So if you had like on Saturday Night Live a black actor playing a white guy or a white
Not at
actor
all
playing a
would be
back,
offended.
you know,
Not
who
at all
cares,
would I be
right?
offended.
Who cares? It's fucking comedy.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm
Yeah.
watching a comedy.
yeah, but everyone's also walking out there together doing this thing together. If there's
I agree
person
with that.
on
I agree with
set
that.
Who's like,
Yeah.
this is unacceptable. Then it's not going to happen.
And I like all I'm saying is like if you have Robert Downey Jr. having blackface, which is offensive now, like it's offensive now.
Well, yeah, but
To
blackface has
everybody.
been offensive for a
Yeah,
long
but like
fucking
what I
time.
mean is like for any role or anything, despite what its intentions are, it's going to be offensive.
It's different
even if it's
to
not
me,
like
and
it's
I know
like having Robert Downey Jr. in blackface playing like with this whole comedy bit is a
He's
little
not
bit
playing
different.
Cooter Kinte
Yeah,
in
yeah.
fucking
No,
Roots.
it's
playing a saucier chef from
Yeah, it's-
fucking San Antonio.
Yeah, it's different. It's different than the blatantly offensive blackface that was played earlier.
That's the way
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah.
And if it's offensive to black people,
Then-
okay,
then
it's
tell us.
offensive. It's
Then tell us.
offensive.
Well, everyone's
But
entitled to be offended.
I
And
just don't see in that context of Robert Downey Jr. I don't see how that's offensive.
I was very interested to see how
don't
what
see it.
I was very interested to see what Jamie Foxx had to say, and pretty much he said it's a movie. Like, you know, it was well done, and he even said like, you know, I've talked to Robert. I told him it was great. I loved what he did, and all this, and like, so like, fuck, you're not gonna get. You know, I'm sure there's still some people that are offended by
yeah,
it.
of course
If,
there is.
if,
Of
if
course
he was
there
playing
is.
a character like in those 30s Disney's movies,
Yeah.
where like the black character is a big fucking stumbling idiot with huge lips and like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm a sauce,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
that's
Yeah, that's
fucking
different.
racist
Yeah,
as
that's
shit.
fucking
offensive.
racist
And
as
that
fuck.
would like even as just like a fucking normal ass white dude from Canada, I'd be like, that is fucked.
You know what? When I
is
watch those old
fucked.
movies with my son, because those old Disney movies are unedited, as they should be, because that is the product of the time, and you know, it's up to me. It's up to me,
Dude, right?
to
Like the way
teach
they
my
portray
son.
Chinese people and shit. Too,
Well,
right?
fuck.
Chinese, Jews,
And
and
Peter Pan, they like the natives.
Yes.
Holy
Yeah.
fuck!
Yeah.
Like holy fuck, was that
Man,
offensive?
friggin' Pocahontas is racist. That came out in like 95.
Yeah, especially since I think that story wasn't true at all. I think
But
it
see,
was,
the thing is, though, is that we watch these
it was a
as
little-
kids, and we grow
Yeah.
up to be
I think I was telling a story the other day about how we learned the ing, ang, and ong sounds in school, and it was like little China hats. And it was the fucking most offensive shit in the world. And that's how we learned the suffixes of those words. And then they drew little Chinaman on the chalkboard, and like at the time you're fucking six.
The fucking line.
But it's
And the little fucking gong hat. You know.
Well, that's the kind of education we're gonna get with the UCP.
Yeah, well, they're fucking. You bet. But Jesus
you know what,
Christ.
yeah, but you know what? They still, like the fucking telephone game, where like you say a sentence,
say a thing,
it goes out. They still call that shit Chinese whispers in fucking Australia and the UK and shit. And I'm like, I don't even understand why it's called that. But what do they call the wave? It's not just the wave; it's some race wave.
Really?
Yeah, it's fucking weird as shit.
Yeah, but that doesn't surprise me because Australia is pretty fucking racist and
But
sexist.
so there's
Every
racism
country's
in every single culture. In Asian culture, in black culture.
Dude,
See, the first.
You can't stand there and tell me just because it's going to a white person. Well, now it's if I can bring it back to like the white chicks, because there's black or there's white people who are offended, and of course there's black people who are going to make the argument that it's like, well, there's no such thing as perverse racism.
Karen put on her Ugg boots this morning. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, right. So it's like, what the? I mean, if a white person finds white chicks offensive, is it offensive? If the collective or majority of society says, "Oh, just fucking chill out, man," like you're white.
Yeah, which is probably what would
People are
happen.
usually offended because they find traces of themselves or they're lacking any sort of victimhood.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Like
yeah.
Like people make fun of me, and I go like, "Oh, fuck you." Yeah, you're right.
I'm the first
portly
person to
piece of
make fun
shit.
of myself
Hey,
because I'm
dude,
fat,
dude,
white,
Yeah.
bald.
So, but all I'm
right.
saying is that I really believe in everything is equal. Let's all be equal.
Yeah.
I fucking have I just want everybody to be equal. And I want to quit fucking fighting about it. So if you're offended by Robert Downey Jr. blackface, you better be offended by white chicks.
Yeah,
If-
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, yeah,
that's what
if-
I'm
if-
saying.
yeah,
and if you're not, offended by either, then fucking you're awesome.
Yeah, right
Because
on. Yeah, you
That's
are
why
awesome.
if you can make a joke but you can't take a joke, then you shouldn't be fucking making any jokes. Because like I make fun of everything, goddamn, even horrible shit that I don't always, There's sometimes I'm like, I shouldn't have said that in front of this person for sure. Like, fuck it, whatever, man. If you're gonna make fun of one thing, you can make fun of everything, or you don't fucking
That's
get
the
to make
thing
fun of
with
anything.
comedy. That's like the argument where I find with comedy is like all these things. Oh, well, it's canceled. It's canceled. It's canceled. Like, it's fucking
Comedy,
It's
yeah.
entertainment. Do you really think like the person's probably playing up a character?
Yeah. I mean,
You know,
there is
like-
instances where it is completely fucking racist. Like when Trudeau did it. When Trudeau did it, it was super fucking
Well,
racist.
okay, so there was a dude in town who like
And he's like the least racist fucking guy that you could have vote in office right now.
Allegedly.
I don't think that was.
Allegedly.
I don't think he was being racist. I think
He
was just
fucking
being,
painted his face
No,
black.
I know what he did. I know what
He was trying to be the
He
fucking.
was trying to be Aladdin from a Disney movie.
I don't think that's what he was doing.
That was.
Do you think that he was
1000%
putting
what
on the
doing.
makeup?
Go on.
Whether it's racist or not, whatever we think. Do you think he's putting on the makeup, being like, fuck the race?
No, I don't think he was. I don't think he was.
Justin
So
Trudeau, man.
so now my question is it racist? Is it racist?
Well,
If the intent is not there, if he's like, look, I'm gonna play Will Smith from I Am Legend. Why you would? I don't know. That's just the first thing that popped into my head.
Yeah, but that's a pretty
So if
like
you got the
obtuse
fucking,
costume.
right?
Yeah.
You know, but if you got like the whole getup that he wore, and you go,
Like pants and a jacket? God,
like,
well,
what
okay,
the
it's a
fuck?
bad example, but this is what. That's what I'm saying, though. Like,
You should have
if I
said-
wanted to be Will Smith.
Can we do Don Cheadle as Captain Planet? Like he
Yeah,
just dressed up as a blue fucking Earth
isn't-
warrior.
Yeah, isn't he
The
a
fuck
white
is
guy?
that?
Blue people take
what,
offense
Don
to that?
Cheadle?
Do
Probably.
blue people take offense to that?
What?
Oh,
if
Don
I was
Cheadle is not a
a
white guy.
planetary warrior.
Yeah, Captain Planet's a blue guy.
Yeah, but
point
did you
is,
just
my
say, is
whole
he a
point
white guy?
is that if the intent to be racist isn't there, is it still racist?
but how do you
It
prove
depends
that?
on how you react to someone
No, but like-
bringing the issue to you. If someone of whatever race or culture, whatever you're attempting to impersonate or be a part of or whatever it is, and they come to you and you can't have a logical discussion or see either side, or you go, hey, how about you fuck off and let me be me? Well, then you might not even be racist, but you're a fucking prick, and you should at least hear the side of someone who is offended by whatever you're doing. Like you don't always have
that's
to
fair.
agree with it, but like
that's fair. But I mean, I don't know.
No, like
going back,
the whole Black Lives Matter thing is like they're being fucking murdered. Like, I mean, it's a fucking big. It's
Yeah,
not,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like that's different than a movie. Like you're gonna be offended by a movie, or you're gonna be fucking offended by being a whole race being
Yeah, but
fucking
Just
murdered all the time.
because you're
Like,
offended doesn't mean it's offensive. I'm sure people who listen to this show fucking at least once or twice. are like, well, that's offensive.
Yeah.
This is but that doesn't
If only
make
once or
it
twice, I'll be
offensive.
surprised.
yeah, actually, yeah,
Because
this
I've
show is
seen-
probably highly offensive.
I've seen black people on Twitter coming out and saying like, oh, like these Black Lives Matter people got to calm the fuck down. Terry Crews, I guess, being most notable, saying like, I don't want this to turn into black supremacy, and of course everybody jumps on him.
Have you seen those videos with it's like Morgan Freeman and I guess another prominent African American actor? I can't remember who he is, but he's an older African American actor, and they were being interviewed about like racism, and the majority of them voiced that they don't believe in racism, which I feel like, of course, they wouldn't because he's fucking Morgan Freeman. And the
Are you
other-
talking about like in a systemic sense of
Do,
like?
do you
Yeah,
think
yeah,
someone
yeah.
like that was like born privileged or what?
No, not at all. No,
Certainly
but
was
like,
not.
but he was making the point that he doesn't think that there's systemic racism now, which would make sense
That's
to me because
insane.
his experience.
We
he's
say as
fuck-
white people.
He's fucking
okay.
Morgan Freeman. Like he would not probably experience that because if somebody was like that to Morgan Freeman, that somebody would probably not be here anymore.
Dude, people get death threats over
He
fucking
made
acting.
a senseless threat and he died.
Acting a character that pisses people off. It's not like he's untouchable from hate.
No, yeah, of course not. Of course not.
I think he's saying that it's not something that's like a natural thing.
It
It's
could-
not something that
yeah.
like people just go, you know what? I woke up this morning and I realized I hate Mexicans. It just came to me naturally. It must be part of who I am. No, that shit is instructed. It is taught. It is taught in awful ways.
It is talk because you can geographically find that geographically geographically find that shit for like where the historic like where the there's like
Well, do you think that if we start teaching people about what Canada did with residential schools, that there will be less hatred towards like
yeah I
Native
think-
Americans? Because
I think if
I
you-
think
yeah.
honestly, people will
need to
go,
know.
oh shit, that's the kind of people we were.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, I don't want to be like that.
dude, generations go by and humans get better. It's just what happens, and for most part,
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, you look at 2020 right now, and it does not look like.
well,
we're
like
And it
no,
depends on what we're
it
taught.
gets better. It gets better because you can look. I work with a young kid, and I asked him about like how things go with like kids that are different. Like what happens when there's a gay kid in your class, and he just went, "Yeah, we don't give a fuck," and I'm like, "Well, fucking that's great because things."
collectively.
Yeah, he's like
Every-
he's
yeah.
like nobody gives a shit. And I said, well, that's fucking great because when I was going to school, we made up songs about it and how like fucking that person's sucks or whatever.
Yeah, the
And,
90s
like,
were ridiculous.
yeah.
It was an insult.
Yeah,
and
like
we didn't
it-
understand what it meant. I don't think.
you would say what a fucking fag, and that was
Yeah.
an insult.
Did
You know what I
guys-
mean?
Did you guys learn about residential schools in school?
fuck no.
I
No,
didn't.
no,
no.
no.
We learned about smallpox blankets, so we
Yeah,
yeah.
we don't give diseases to
It
people.
was- Yeah,
but, like,
in blanket form.
tariffs in
Yeah.
Upper Canada.
Yeah, you learn
there
about
was, like-
American history there.
No, we
You know?
learned when I lived in Lethbridge. We learned a
learned
lot
tons
about
of
like
indigenous-
Canadian Native
Yeah,
American
for sure.
history, but we never talked.
It,
Yeah,
about
it
it.
definitely
they
doesn't make us out to be the bad guys. And then
Yeah, no, they need to
They-
because you learn from that. Like you learn to be better from that. Like learn from your mistakes and go on.
Yeah, and see how it affects you.
Yeah,
Do,
like,
do, you,
well-
do you feel good being like,
Learn and move on. Learn, get better, raise your next generation better, and move on. Take
Exactly,
what you
but
learned.
You need to teach the mistakes of the past, otherwise you're never fucking
Yeah,
gonna learn from
I
it.
agree
just
with you.
Shovel it under the rug, going,
I
"Oh
agree
yeah,
with
no,
you.
we totally
Like-
just like have mass burial ground, like burial sites in the 60s and 70s and 80s, because we couldn't instruct the savages." That's something that people need to learn about because they won't see that it was a fucking mistake that people made.
Yeah, like
if you have no fucking basis for.
Well,
I
like,
mean, in
sorry.
that, you do run the risk of like, there's probably going to be a kid who's like, yeah, fuck those fucking guys.
Yeah, well, there's going to be a
yeah,
kid who
maybe.
goes, "Oh yeah, fucking
Evil
Hitler
is
was
evil,
right," when he's
and-
sitting in
yeah,
grade
there's-
11 class learning about fucking.
yeah, there is going to be that.
You
guy.
know.
Yeah,
You know?
and that I mean, in that, not to call him like the next Hitler or whatever, but I mean, that's where it starts.
Yeah, it's
you can-
really
It starts in the classroom. That's what you're saying.
It absolutely does
yeah,
start
but
in the fucking
no,
classroom.
no. It starts with the parents. It starts with the parents. Too often that kids' misbehavior and whatever the fuck they do wrong is blamed on the school or
It's-
blamed on video games or blamed
was
on
a
anything.
fucking video.
It's the environment period, because you can have great parents and the things that you're exposed to as a child can influence you regardless of what your parents teach you.
This is true, but like you can I mean for the most part, like if you have a solid home base, like where you have
Sing
support,
songs
you have
together and that
support,
weird
you have this kind of stuff, like where like when you go home, you have love and support and all this kind of thing. At least hopefully, you could have this. Like it's all you can do as a parent. You can't do much more than that. You can't helicopter around them their whole fucking life,
And-
especially when they're getting
like
older.
I've
Feed
said
them when they're
before,
bad, feed them candy when they're good, and they'll turn out just fine, right?
like racism obviously was never taught in my family, but it was also I was never sat down and be like, well, you have to be nice to these people. It was never.
No,
an
you just
issue
be
for
nice
me.
to fucking everybody.
It was
Yeah, be
never
nice
an
to
issue.
everybody.
You know, I never saw color in that sense.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, therefore, you know.
Yeah.
So
But
it just
no, it didn't-
boggles
it
my
just-
fucking mind.
So
It just didn't fucking make a difference
Yeah.
on how you judged a person.
Yeah. So like so as
and
a
I just don't get why it can't be I saw a video of an old lady at a Trump rally yelling at someone that she's going to train their kids to hate you. And
Yeah,
it's like the next generation's already like we're already
That's
fucked.
already there. That's
From
already
generation
there.
to generation. There's always going to be hate. There will never be a utopia. There will always be a racism. You're always gonna. I mean, and it's not just
there's
us
always going to be
white people.
There's always going to be somebody hating somebody else because we're always fighting. Seems to be.
Well,
My
and
big
white
hang
people enslave white people in
But
history
my
too. It
big
doesn't
hang
matter.
up is that it's always about white people being racist. Like nobody else is racist.
Yeah, there's like lots of other racist
Everybody's
races.
racist.
Yeah.
Everybody.
100%.
Yeah.
Black, Asian, Indian. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. There's race. There's always going to be at least one person
look
per
at-
group that's
look-
going to be like, "Fuck it." Well, that's
Look
just
at
like them.
Look at China fucking imprisoning Muslims right
Yeah,
now.
right.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fucking racist.
They have fucking camps.
yeah, where they're killing
Like,
them.
I can't believe that's happening.
Well, and it's in the news, but it's not in the news because it's not like a good story for like Fox
It's
News or
statistics. It doesn't fucking
NBC
matter.
News. You know,
Also,
like
for like the mainstream media right now, the formula seems to be either Trump or coronavirus leading off,
Yeah.
and then you just like kind of alternate
Yeah.
down like Trump, corona.
they huck the rest of it on Facebook and they call her a day.
Yeah.
You know, like it's fucking crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, well,
this-
we're apes with fire though. Like that's what fucking global media saturation and global communications
And
are.
universal
we are fucking apes with
connection.
fire. We're just like, I don't know how this works because fucking technology expanded so much faster than our brains can fucking comprehend, and we are not aware of the repercussions of having global telecommunications, and
So-
we do not know how to fucking act or deal with it or fucking anything because we're
The internet's ruining everything. I'll tell you that right now. As much as I use it, it's ruining everything.
people are ruining everything.
The internet's
Yeah, but
fine.
who uses the internet?
That doesn't make the
Apes.
internet. That doesn't make the
Apes
internet.
with
It makes
fire.
the internet
I
a
just said,
tool of
who's using the
hatred.
internet? The internet is fire, and we are apes.
It's too much fucking information. Dave Chappelle in like his first Netflix special, he said it, man. He's like, you guys have a fucking
Supercomputer in your pocket.
Well, no, but he also
You
was
have-
like, you guys have a Columbia space shuttle disaster every fucking day. It's every day you're trying to react to that. And it's like, but sometimes it's not always the space shuttle blowing up, even though that's what you're making it.
95% of the time,
The
it's
fucking
not.
internet blows everything out of fucking proportion. But I fucking loathe the internet, and I loathe the internet more when I have people like, because I love cable and watching TV. Fucking cable is your TV is the devil. And it's like
Rock
really,
music is the devil.
Don't
Every-
ever let me
everything.
catch you on the fucking internet, because if you hate cable but you use the internet, you're a fucking idiot. Like, you're a piece of shit. Like, you're a fucking hypocrite. Fucking
There's
asshole.
so many commercials.
Oh, because there's no pop-ups on the fucking internet,
Yeah,
right?
I know. I'm being
You look at porn
I'm
sites.
big-
How many commercials do you get popping up?
The only thing I see popping up in that.
It doesn't pop up.
No,
that
but
much.
seriously,
It's,
like
no, it's the fucking internet. It's the fucking. It's Twitter. It's Facebook. It's fucking all that bullshit.
It's technology on a whole
stupid.
expanding beyond our own fucking
But I use
simple way of comprehending. Of course,
I use it.
I like
Of course.
watching boobs.
But I know it's the devil. I know it's more of a devil than
That
TV.
devil.
So, do you think the world would be better if we went back to say like 1700s?
How? Wait, just hold up. Let's simplify this even more. How much do you think this town has fucking improved with no nightclubs?
I think it's been a whole lot peaceful.
I don't.
a lot quieter.
I don't really go outside that much anymore, so I don't really know.
This place, no, like there's less graffiti. The cops aren't fucking working from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. every morning dealing with fights. The hospital is probably fucking bored.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
That's entirely possible. Yeah.
It's like the internet. You know, getting boozed up at a nightclub where you're just like, you know, you're like, yeah, that chick with the tits, that's hot. I'm gonna fuck that bitch. I don't care about boyfriend. I'm
That's
just
very
drunk
apt.
and I'm gonna punch him in the mouth. And then I'm gonna take her back to my hotel room and I'm gonna plow her and it's gonna be great. That's people with the internet. They're just like, oh yeah, my opinion is all that matters, and everyone else can just fuck off and eat a dick.
I'm right,
It's just
fuck
like
you.
drunken fucking stupid children. Not.
Having a Twitter account doesn't give you a fucking MD. Doesn't make you a fucking any kind of philanthropist or fucking do-gooder.
No.
At all.
Taught me about Resident Evil rubber duckies on sale, and that's pretty sweet.
And I get it. Before everyone starts screaming, I get it. We're on the internet. I'm on the internet.
We're on the internet right now, Daniel.
We're
Do you
on
not
the-
understand?
If we haven't been shut down, the internet's like, nope.
Yeah. All right, 25 episodes is enough of these fucking clowns.
I just think that the spread of information is, sometimes the information isn't as fucking important as maybe somebody thinks it is. And
Information is always subjectively shared, too.
yeah, but it was so much different back in the day.
Yeah,
from when
because we
were
didn't know that other
kids.
people had opinions.
Yeah, and we also didn't know that some of those opinions are fucking loopy.
Yeah.
Loopy. So I can give you the opinion. Okay, now you have an opinion. And then you're like, Alex Jones, and you're like, maybe you shouldn't have an opinion. We should take that away from you.
Well, I will fund an expedition to the end of the planet.
So just because you have an opinion doesn't make
I
it
can't
right.
go.
Is what I'm saying.
I can't go, but you can go. I will pay for this. You and Joe get in a boat. Find the ice wall.
Yeah, not Eddie Bravo.
I will. Yeah, thank you. I was like Johnny Bravo.
Eddie Bravo, yeah. Anyways, on that note,
They are having sex.
Hey, Daniels, can I give you some good news for you and bad news for me?
the
Leafs won!
Yeah, the Leafs clearly won in overtime.
The Leafs scored 3 goals in the last 4 minutes of the game and then won in overtime.
Nice, good for them. That's awesome.
Pretty much ruined my
Finally.
night.
Do you know
Big
why?
Pretty much
Doing
ruined my night.
Because everybody rallied around that team was like, come on.
It's true.
Come on, Toronto. You guys got this.
Tyson, if you're
Whereas
really that
in
upset, you
Edmonton-
would have just thrown down your headphones and been
Yeah.
like, I've been at fuck you all. I'm out.
Well, I'm not that
it's-
upset
yeah,
about it.
sure.
I'm just kind of.
What if I poured
You know,
a beer on your crotch?
Well, I would be like, fuck, that was my beer. I only
Well, I'm
have
going to go get one of my own.
I have finite amount of gluten-free beer.
I was gonna say, don't pour.
I
it
think,
end up on my floor.
I think on that note, we've ranted, we've raved,
We have ranted.
We've
and
ranted,
raved
we've
quite a bit,
raved.
yeah.
we've
had a good
probably-
time.
I think I'm probably gonna get a whole bunch of hate shit about how I'm like a huge racist.
Oddly enough,
Hey,
we
just
don't
keep
get
in mind
any
that we'll
fucking
just
hate.
simple small. Oh yeah, you're from Toronto. Well, just keep in mind the rest of. Oh, you're from Toronto too. Just keep in mind half of us are small town mountain folk up here in the frozen north.
2 of us have starched shirts, and we would prefer not to have them ruined.
There's 3 fucking colors on them, for Christ's sake.
Right. I am at TinCan Blues. You can find me at TinCan Blues on Twitter and Instagram now. And you can find our website is wheelsbluespodcast.wixsite.com/my site. Go on there.
Semicolon. We don't care about how many characters you have to type into your search bar.
Just cut us some slack, please. We're not making millions off
I
this fucker.
refuse.
So,
But you, the loyal listener, can change that right now by heading to redbubble.com.
Good plug.
yeah, there you go. Buy some Wheels Blues masks to protect your COVIDness.
Yeah, keep that COVID in.
And I'm
Don't
at
share
Skweeed.
your
Don't
COVID.
share your
SKW
COVID.
Triple ED, and it's good to be back for this episode. I can't wait to skip out on the next 3. Love y'all. Thanks for listening. And
Bye.
Yeah.
And I am at Eric_83. Please, well, you don't know where I live, so you can't firebomb it. So, thanks for nothing, jackasses. No, I love you all. Please keep listening.
And as always, I am at Money Wheels, the calming influence of this podcast. Please rate and subscribe and give us 5 stars on the Facebook, the Instagram, and the Twitter, as well as follow all of your podcast needs.
It's a sensual podcast.
Follow that one too. Thanks for listening to episode 25, everybody, and we'll see you next time.